added a name to our hanger side. I'm sure you guys got a letter maybe 6 to 8 months ago. We purchased a seismic hanger company called AFCON. We don't really see too many seismic hangers on our side. Fire protection does. So we've got some things in our regular catalog, but we also have a whole array of seismic hangers to us that I don't know anything about, just because we don't see it here in this part of the country. But if you have an opportunity, some jobs some jobs few and far between, but some jobs we have seen some seismic requirements. So if you think that we can't, if we can't quote it, we certainly can. So, just get in touch with me, and then I can send it to the appropriate AFCON people, and we can get you quoted. So what I handed out to everybody is a cross-reference guide of pipe hangers. It's most of our competition on here. We've got Beeline and Tolco and Airco, PhD. AFCON is now added in for the seismic, Carpenter and Patterson, Empire. So that's just basically a cross-reference from their part numbers over to our part numbers. So we make it pretty simple for you guys. So this is on our website. If you don't like the paper, copy of it or whatever, you can always look at it on our website. Not only do we have this, but we have a groove lock cross-reference that has, now we've incorporated the Grinnell numbers over on it also. While I'm on that, I mentioned back in our groove lock training or Grinnell training back in I guess the winter, John and I did that we weren't sure if we were going to do catalogs going forward with coordinating the two lines in. We are not going to reproduce another catalog. Everything is going to be online going forward. So we still have groove lock catalogs today. We still have the hanger catalogs today. We're doing away with all catalogs. They're just going. Everybody wants them online. I think like job sites and stuff. It's a little hard for us, but I guess we'll make do. But if you need catalogs today, like hanger catalogs or strut or groove lock, I suggest let me know now. That way I can order you a couple cases. That way you at least have them to get you through.
Are they working on any apps, like for phones?
We have a whole new marketing team, and they have been awesome. We have a sales portal now. When you go onto our website, and you guys are going to have access to this very shortly. When you go onto our website, you guys will log on. If you've ever been on our website and did like submittals, there's a submittal manager. You'll go on, you'll get your own password. Up in the right-hand corner is a submittal manager. Go click on that. You'll be able, right now we're able to look at any item and see if it's in stock today, live today for you guys. It has been fantastic. I can pull over the side of the road and whatever.
I'm sure you do.
It's been, yeah, no I do. It's a lot of steps. So it's been fantastic, but eventually that's going to come to you guys, like not too much further down the road. You'll be able to look at stock, and then I think eventually you'll be able to do orders if you want. So that'll be really nice. Now you EDI, so it's really, for you it's not, anything different.
Yeah, it would help us out.
But looking at stock, oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. You have to wait. You don't have to rely on like one of our inside sales staff to call you back, or to wait on the phone, or if they're busy, then it's accessible for you guys, which is fantastic. So, and it's basically you just punch in. It's like a little search menu, which we already have on there. It's a little search menu. You just punch in like say 7700 butterfly valve, and it pulls up whatever is associated with that. And then you just click on, and it gives you, and it tells you exactly what distribution center it's in, how many pieces in what distribution center. So if it's either in Columbia or you can pick it up. So that's coming for you guys shortly, which is nice. Okay, so the AFCON acquisition, the seismic, we're good with that. We don't see too many inquiries there. So for the hangers, before I get started on the PowerPoint, for the contractors, if you're not asking for the hanger projects, you guys are selling pipe, you're selling groove. They got to hang it, or they got to support it. So ask for the hangers. When you get the hanger list, make sure that they have the finish on there, either black or gal. It's not hard, black or gal, unless it's stainless steel. So we've added a lot of stainless steel to our line. Years ago, we didn't have any stainless steel options. We've added a lot, like clevises and just your standard run-of-the-mill hangers that I'm going to run through today. Beam clamps, we've added a lot of stainless lines. So wastewater treatment plants is a good application for stainless. Corrosive atmospheres is where you're going to see stainless, especially stainless strut and supports. Okay? So this is, like I said, basic 101. My computer didn't work, so I'm using yours today. Okay, so we're going to start off with strut. You guys obviously buy some of our strut. The finishes are pre-galv. We have plain steel, which is a non-stock item. Stainless steel, we stock 316 and 304 right in here in Columbia. I stocked that for a couple of customers that have asked us to stock it years ago. So we've got bundles of that. Aluminum, a non-stock, zinc dichromate, probably never sold that. Obviously it's a non-stock as well. PVC coated and hot tip galvanized. The standard is obviously either pre-galv or green. So the different configurations, we'll go through that next, but if you can see, I mean, that's just an application at the bottom of how strut is actually used in the field. That's in a tunnel application. We actually have a design team that mainly does our groove lock design for all of the piping for groove lock. We've now coordinated a team to do hangers. So I've done a project years ago. It was a school job that they actually drew all of the tunnels with all of the strut racking system in there. Turned out to be a phenomenal job. So it's not only the strut that you're selling, but you're selling all the supports. You know, you've got the clevis hangers, you know, that's suspended from the ceiling. You've got your roller hangers. You've got a ton of stuff. If we could do, you know, just like the drawing package like we do on the groove side. Okay, why is this not working? Okay. So this is just the different configurations, basically a page out of our catalog of all of the different channels that we actually stock. Standard is inch and 5/8, you know, inch and 5/8 EH, which is elongated holes, galvanized or green, 10 or 20 footers. We stock that all day long in Columbia. The AS 500, which is the back-to-back, we, you know, again, we stock that as well, 10 and 20 footers, and 13/16. Those are like the major ones that contractors are buying today. This is just the strut hardware that actually goes on, it actually connects into the actual strut itself. Just different components. We've got the pipe and conduit supports, the spring nuts or the channel nuts, the channel hardware like is the lock washers and things of that nature. The closure, the mounted system, which is, that's actually, we are a closure distributor. Closure is actually a manufacturer, a separate manufacturer, but we are listed as one of their distributors. We actually did a job, I think Lisa and I did a job with, I think it was Ingenuity years ago, where Closure actually sized up all of the sized up the entire job, and then we ended up getting it because we were the local, you know, rep or whatever you will be, you know, whatever you want to call it for Closure. But that's, you know, when you get sizable jobs, they're running a ton of pipe. It's a pretty nice project, you know, in the end. Just some more strut fittings, your brackets. Again, just some like washers and different configurations. You guys don't need to know this. Your contractor will be supplying you guys. Hopefully, they'll be supplying you guys with the model numbers of what they want. You know, if you get the power strut, it's not too hard. You know, the power strut numbers is PS. Anvil numbers is AS. It's not really hard to like transfer those numbers over to Anvil strut. And of course, if you don't know, you can always contact your little Anvil salesperson. Again, just more, you know, strut fittings, the supports. You've got the spliced clevises, post bases. You'll see those on tons of jobs. They obviously they need to support it somehow, some way, in corners and coming off of the walls and things of that nature. Wing fittings is just, you know, different configurations. They have 2-hole, 3-hole. U supports. You know, again, it's just however they're gonna attach it to something. And just some more miscellaneous fittings. It looks like a lot of fittings, but honestly, you know, the contractors use like the 2-hole, 3-hole, you know, post bases and this standard strut. It's not really a whole lot. The conduit clamps are obviously a big one. This is just some more pictures of some racking systems, some projects that we've done. You can see they got the roller hangers, you know, for your pipe to slide through and just keep on going all the way down the hallway or all the way down in the tunnels. You'd be surprised, a lot of the school projects actually, there's tunnels underneath, and that's where all the piping system goes. They go to the mechanical room, that's how it's supported. Pretty neat stuff, huh? The one to the right is obviously, you can see it's suspended from a ceiling. Obviously, it's up in, up in a building somewhere, supporting it. It's got, all your pipes ran on insulated pipes. Oh no. Again, just some more pictures of different applications down in some tunnels. So that's it for strut and the strut components. Any questions on that? We have forever ran a program for strut for contractors. If they do like 100 cuts or more, they get the strut from you guys, obviously bought from us. We actually throw in the job, we'll give them all the cuts. It doesn't cost them a dime for us to cut them. So what they would have to do is give us the cut list of the their takeoff list of what sizes they want it cut to. We cut it, put it on a pallet, and ship it right to the job site. And it's a hard one for contractors. It sounds really, appealing and whatnot, but it's a hard one for contractors because they typically cut it in the field or they cut it in their actual fab shop. So it's like, per drawing, if they gave us a drawing, sometimes those drawings don't always match up. When they get in those tunnels, they could be off a couple inches, a foot, something. So we don't really see too many opportunities of that, but it just be known that it is out there that if it's 100 cuts or more, we'll pass that cost on, for free to the contractor, for free to you guys. So rooftop supports. Bob, are you stocking these? Or you?
That one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is just, part of our strut and rooftop support offering. So these are nothing more than they sit on top of a roof, like a rubber roof, if you will. It's got different components as far as what you can get coming off of the block itself. This is 100% recycled rubber. Years ago, the contractors used to use wooden blocks. Well, the wooden blocks they found broke down over time, so the engineering community is saying, oh no, that's not happening anymore. You guys are not able to use those. You need to go with a system like this. So this is never going to break down. This is, like I said, 100% recycled rubber, probably made out of tires or whatever it might be. Never going to break down. Obviously, it's got the, the little caution things, for up on the roof, whatever. So it just comes in a ton of configurations. When contractors are ordering these, they're not ordering 5, they're not ordering 10, they're typically ordering 30, 40, 50 of these things. Because when they're running the pipe, they got to be supported at so many feet. So pallet pricing is so much better. I don't know if you buy pallets. You do buy the pallets. Okay, perfect. Because pallet pricing is like several dollars less than just, onesies or twosies. Okay, so you're good. All right, so we know all about these.
Moving on.
Okay, don't want to bore you. Oh,
Well, that's only Bob. He doesn't
Okay, so-
necessarily. Everybody knows.
Well, maybe he's just kind of put
He's
the
a
system
smart
in
guy.
the
The
right.
rest of us
think she
aren't
just called us
so
all
smart.
stupid.
Maybe you don't need to know the several dollars less. Bob, don't want you to know that. All right, any questions on those? They're pretty simple. Different configurations, you're going to get that from the contractor. These come plain as well. You don't have to get the strut on top of them. The contractor, if they think, oh boy, the strut's too expensive, we'll just cut our own or whatever. So you can get the blocks, just like that. We also have a mini series, which is probably about 3/4 of that for like a single run of pipe. We added those, I don't know, maybe a year ago. They're just not, I don't think they're just hot sellers. So, if your contractor, I don't know if you guys have the brochures or they're definitely in the strut catalog. But, be known that we have a smaller series of them. So we're going to go into hangers. So this is just the standard specification for the hangers that, you're going to get from the contractors and just the different approvals. You'll see a lot of, we still have so many engineers out there have the old Grinnell name listed in the spec. Just be known, we are the old Grinnell on the hanger side. So if they haven't updated the specs and you think, oh, well, what Grinnell, so that's just us. I mean, it's the same part numbers. We never changed any of the part numbers. So you see that specification, that's Anvil. A lot of these engineers just don't update their specs, unfortunately. So these are just different applications. So obviously the ASME boiler and pressure vessel code, the power generation plants, chemical plants, petroleum refinery piping systems, building services, and nuclear power. When we get into like the nuclear power and the refineries and whatnot, that actually pertains to like our engineered hangers, which is like the spring hangers, the constant supports. Those are made to order. Those involve great detail. You guys need to know nothing about those. Just get the, the information from the contractor on those. They need to specify everything as far as like loads. There's hot loads, cold loads. There's a picture, there's actually a form in our catalog that you guys can download, or I can just shoot you a quick email on it. You guys do get opportunities from time to time. I know I've done a ton of these with lace. But there's a spring hanger form that has all of the information that's required for us to actually quote. If we don't have one piece of this information, we can't quote anything to these guys, because all of this is in how they're built. So all of that information is like how they're set, how they're made, they're made to order. So that's the information we need. So you guys don't need to know anything about them. There's pages of different configurations of spring hangers, way over my head. And I'm sure it's probably way over you guys' head.
What are you trying to say, Gail?
Well, it's not our forte. So basically, so when you do get those inquiries or whatever, just shoot them to me. I get them right over to our engineered hanger division. We've been a lot better in getting them turned around quote-wise and delivery time frame on them. If it's not too intense, it's not a really crazy hanger, we could have the components sitting on the shelf. It could be a week. Otherwise, they could sometimes be out 4, 5, 6 weeks, which is typically in jobs like those. The contractors usually plan for them. Sometimes not. Mostly not.
Yeah.
Mostly not.
What do you mean you don't have it on the shelf?
So this is just a basic hanger configuration of what you see in the field. This is just a basic hanger assembly. So basically you've got your beam going across, you've got a beam clamp attached to the beam, you've got your thread rod hanging down, and you've got your clevis hanger. That's how the pipe is supported. Pretty basic. Again, you're going to get the list from the contractor, so basic. So these are upper hanger components, meaning that they get attached to like the beams, or pretty much beams. Hence the beam clamps. So the figure 92s and 93s, and on the next slide the 94s, they're pretty much the ones that we see repetitively. That's pretty much what the guys are looking for. Some of the figure 86s and the 88s we see from time to time, but they like the universal style and like the wide throat beam clamps. Some more configurations of the beam clamps. Again, the 94s, that's a hot seller. The rest of them, not so much. We have a great deal of offering for beam clamps. We don't really see a ton of them. The 133s and the 134s, we see from time to time in heavier applications. But the typicals are your 92s, 93s, and 94s. Again, just some more configurations. These are the structural attachments. So this is what the beam, or what they attach to the beam itself, or whatever they're attaching to hold the like your clevis hanger or whatever in place. So the welded beam attachment and the figure 66s, they're a pretty popular item. Obviously the steel washer plates are a big mover. The rest of them, it just really depends on the contractors what they're specifying. Concrete inserts, we see those all the time. The figure 152s is certainly a heavy mover for us. The other types, not so much. Again, some more concrete inserts and attachments. And then your rod. So you've got different configurations of your rod as far as like different threading and whatnot. Rod is sold, we only sell it by the tube, we don't sell it by the piece. So you know that. I mean, we have stainless steel rod. We have different configurations. We can get hot dip galvanized rod. We pretty much stock just the standard zinc and black. So some more just hanger rod attachments. And some more. So we're going to go into the lower components. So we will actually see the next size, or the next of like the lower of how they attach on the lower side. So these are like the 138Rs, the split ring clamps. We sell those. You guys probably buy those by cases, I'm sure. Those are an import item. I don't know that you can buy a split ring hanger today that's domestic. So we've, you know, supplied letters basically telling end users or contractors that, you know, we don't really know of a domestic manufacturer out there today. They do come from China. Whether we'll change our thinking on some of this stuff, obviously with what's going on, who knows? We're starting to do a lot more in our plant than we've ever done. So who knows? And we've got our hanger plants located in Henderson, Tennessee. So I'm sure they're looking at different avenues because it's going to get really difficult getting materials over here shortly. But the 138Rs is the standard. That's what you guys are probably buying most of. The figure 65s, the lightweight clevis hanger, they're another hot entity. They only go up to 4-inch. They're very much lighter than the figure 260s, which is the standard clevis hanger. They're a more beefier hanger. A lot of contractors just, you know, want the beefier hanger. And they're the two that you guys are quoting out, the 65s and the 260s. So just some vertical hangers. So our figure 261, the riser clamp, obviously you see it's in the vertical position. That's how you actually support pipe that's running up a wall. Just some more of the vertical hangers. The figure 40, they are like a really, really, really heavy duty hanger. We don't really sell a whole lot of those unless it's in a very hefty atmosphere. They're very expensive. So the typical is the 261 is pretty much the standard for us. Offset pipe clamp, we do sell a lot of those. The extended pipe clamp, obviously you see the feet on that is much larger or much longer. And then the medium duty pipe clamp, we do sell a ton of those as well. And those all just come in either black or galv. You know, all of these hangers actually come in either black or galv. So just some more pipe clamps, just different configurations. Again, the double bowl pipe clamp, the 295s and the 295A, we sell a ton of those. And those are just your standard U-bolts. Everybody knows what a U-bolt is, right? Straps, I mean, this is basically like the figure 262s, you know, copper pipe. You see those, you know, probably in your basement, you know. I don't think I need to say much on those. And just other different types of straps. Pipe shields or saddles, the figure 167 is pretty much the standard. When you guys have a list of those, we need to know, to be able to size them up, the insulation thickness. So if you don't give us the insulation thickness, you're getting a call back from us saying, hey, what's the insulation thickness? And then you're going to have to go back to your contractor. So really 3 things to know: galvanized, black, and thickness of insulation. Pretty simple. The figure 160s and 166As, they're like a really heavy duty pipe support or a saddle. They actually get welded to the structural steel itself. So they're in heavier duty applications. Pipe rolls, the figure 177 and the 171s, we stock those in both import and galvanized. If you want domestic or import and galvanized, yeah, import or domestic, I think you knew what I meant, right?
Yeah, we speak, Gail.
Yeah. So they come in either import or domestic. Really, all you need to know for the figure number on those is a 177D for domestic, or otherwise, if you don't have a D behind it, you're going to get a quote on import. So, I'm adding 4 questions now. Black, galvanized, insulation thickness, and import or domestic on your rolls. The rest of them, I don't really see a whole lot of applications for that for our standard, schools and hospitals and hotels and motels and stuff like that. Pipe rolls, we sell a ton of these. Different configurations, obviously you see there, the 271s and the 274s are probably, and the 277s are probably, they're all pretty much standard, just depends on what your contractor wants. They get bolted right to, like a piece of structural, the pipe sits on top of it, and what that is for, obviously it rolls, so it's for a pipe, for, obviously there's movement in piping systems, so that actually compensates for the pipe moving. Pipe guides, this is to, so you don't want a piping system that looks like this. We actually have guides that'll keep it straight. Different components there, different configurations. And this is just the basic pipe support. This is what you typically see out in the field every day in the mechanical rooms. They've got to support the pipe somehow, some way, or a 90 coming off of pieces of equipment, things of that nature. So basically it consists of a base plate, pipe stanchion, which is nothing more than a piece of pipe welded to the base plate with threads on it. Is it going to blow up? we go into just another like nipple, if you will, and then it just has your pipe support sitting on there, and the pipe sits on top of there. So now what we do need to know is obviously, you know, what the height of it is, obviously your pipe size, and then they get, you know, you size those up per really, you know, that information. So that's pretty standard. Here's some more different, you know, pipe supports. Again, contractor will give us the information on those, hopefully. Just some more configurations there. And these are just brackets. Brackets to hold, you know, piping and not a whole lot to know there. And I think that's it. That is our Hangers 101. Pretty easy, huh? Any questions?
Somebody has to ask at least.
Could you start over?
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
Go back to slide, I think it was 15.
Okay.
Oh God, she kept that in her.
She's been thinking about this for a while.
Don't forget 15. Don't forget 15.
Hey. 15 or 16, where you show a whole hanger.
That?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Your number 66. Because it looks like the beam, and then what is 66? Like, what is that piece going through?
So this right here.
Yes.
So just like a little rod attachment.
Okay.
So basically, this would get welded or thread, you know, attached to the beam, and however, you know, whatever configuration. Then this actually has to be supported with. So this is like another, well, figure 290, which holds your thread rod. It's got threads on it. Your
Right.
thread rod just, you know, screws into that. Then that comes down. Obviously, you got two nuts there. And it's funny because like in the field, like when like on roof jobs, or so the guys will go in. Our figure 260 ISS, which my hangar manager didn't have a slide in here. Shame on him. Shame on me for not adding it, honestly. But so our figure 260 ISS, which is our insulation saddle system, we're the only ones who have this. There we go. So it's got that little saddle system on the bottom. So your pipe actually just sits on there. So the insulator, these things are fantastic because when the insulator comes, the piping's hanging down, you know, you've got a whole system of pipe going. When the insulator comes, they actually unscrew this stuff. They actually maneuver these things all around to fit their insulation on, but they never go back and level them up, never. With this, they don't even have to touch that. They just insulate, they butt their insulation right to it. So that's what that little saddle is in the bottom of that. They're a little bit more expensive. They come in black and galv and for copper and steel. But it benefits the insulator, you know, big time, and also the contractor, because the contractor's stuck now to go out and level those things out. So it's this is like should be like a really hot mover for guys. When contractors use them, oh my gosh, they just like stick to them, which is fantastic. But if they don't know they're out there, if you guys want samples of these things, you know, to keep in your car, I can certainly give you samples. We used to have a brochure, but we don't have brochures anymore, so you're going to have to show them, you know, obviously the catalog, and we have a picture. We have everything on YouTube today, or everything on our website, as far as a little installation manual, you know, or a little installation video of how these things go. It really takes a minute to look at it. So if you got a contractor that's interested, just, you know, I don't know if you have little pads, iPads or whatever, but you can call it up on your iPad or something. I mean, the videos are fantastic. So they just notch the insulation around that. So yeah, so it's you know, and they're used, you know, before we didn't have them for steam rating. That was so many years ago. I mean, now we've got it for steam rating. So both for hot and cold systems, which is fantastic. I mean, it's.
I have a question on the same slide, Dee.
Yeah.
What type exactly is that that's running through there?
Right here?
It's a yin and yang.
It's a yin and yang?
I guess. And that's just to show like the you know, like the flow, like it's pipe.
Oh,
that's a diagram for pipe. Now come on, you've been in this business how long? Any other questions? Pretty basic, right?
No, I learned a little bit.
Yeah. It's pretty basic.
And not everybody here is from sales either, so it is.
When you guys listen, too, you know, just like the groove side, if you guys get, you know, a takeoff of an entire project, we can project price hangers too. So don't think that we can't do that. We can do that because sometimes hangers get to be pretty expensive. I don't want a list of 10. Hey, could you hangers are very inexpensive.
Yeah, Doug.
Most hangers are very inexpensive.
Yeah, Doug. Don't be doing that.
But if you're sending me 5 clevis hangers and a couple beam clamps and some other stuff, yeah, that's not going to happen. But if you've
I pulled over for this.
if you've got a whole project that with the takeoff from the contractors, absolutely, we can put just like roofs. We can put a POD in the system. We can hold that pricing. Don't know for how long with all the
Can't
price
promise
increases,
anything
but.
anymore.
So you saw, well, I have you all here too. So you saw the last increase we're having on grooved. So Victaulic also announced first before us with a 6%. We just announced to match that. Well, guess what? They're going to have another 10% because import. So we are going to have I don't know how long we'll let it go because I'm sure, Anvil being Anvil will eventually jump on some bandwagon because
Well, you almost have to.
I guess, but it gives us it's going to give us such a huge advantage. Anything, from what we're being told for imports, anything sitting on the water September 1st is going to get an automatic 10%. If it's not here in port, automatic 10%. So obviously with their new increase coming out 10%, what does that mean? But they won't admit it, right? So we should have huge advantages on grooved for going into, the second half of the year.
And
Huge advantages.
you guys are now pretty much in the important engineer specs, right?
We really don't have too many that we run into anymore that won't allow us. And if you do, get John involved. John, he'll go berserker with that. He does a fantastic, as you saw, in our presentation early on in the year, he does a fantastic presentation for the engineers. And he'll add every certificate in there and fight it to beyond belief. And 9 out of 10 he wins. I mean, it's not too many times that John's shot down. So yeah, we're not, the engineering community they're pretty open, which is good.
Did they get a rep in this area yet? I still haven't seen anyone.
As far, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't heard.
Which is good.
Yeah, I have not heard. Especially in you guys deal with a lot of the naval bases and stuff like that. There's a contractor down in Washington that we've tried for years and years and years. Huge. I kept telling John, stop. You can't. Oh my God. We're never going to conquer this. They've been Victaulic. Victaulic has outfitted their fab shop with gazillion dollars of fabrication equipment. That's what they do. So they had a job they submitted on for an Army depot down in Maryland, and it got shot down because they can't supply a certificate that has the NAR such and such a number added to it. They can't add it. So they ended up giving us the job, and we didn't even have to go to stupid crazy numbers because they were willing to pay a little bit more for domestic. They couldn't get anything, so they had to go with us. Now since the Grinnell acquisition, we have complete across the board domestic. We've got the copper, we've got the stainless steel, which we didn't have before. So that's made us even stronger. And I think, I don't know what Victaulic's stance is going to do going forward, obviously with these tariffs and such going on. Material, they have to have loaded up on material, you would think they would. So I don't know what's the future's going to hold for them. And we just keep getting more and more and more market share throughout the country, which is awesome. Products and stuff that really don't make a whole lot of sense. They now came out with a product I just saw last week where they're trying to combat the small press stuff. But the fittings are they're huge. It's nobody's gonna draw that in. Are you kidding me? They're just huge. The takeout is so big for such small diameter pipe. So we'll have a copper press by the end of the year, and then following will be the mega press, if you will. We've had a lot of prototypes and a lot of testing going on. For the malleable, they were actually trying to do an actual malleable fitting as opposed to steel like Viega. So it should be interesting. Yeah, we're super late to the game, but the copper system's got a lot of fantastic points a lot of features that even Viega doesn't have, which is awesome. Same tooling, so it'll be interesting. Be very interesting. Obviously we've had a lot of they've shown it at a lot of different shows throughout the country, and I've had a lot of people really wanting to put it in stock. So we'll see.